Today's verse of the day is Hebrews 4:10. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. We all love the idea of rest. I mean, we spend like all week anticipating the weekend. We eagerly count down the days until our next vacation. But if you're like me, sometimes you come back from that vacation even more exhausted than when you left. It turns out, as much as we love the idea of rest, we're not actually very good at it. We tend to pack any and all available free time with activity and busyness. Even if we manage to slow down our body and sit back in a comfortable chair, we inevitably pull out our phones and begin scanning apps, right? Sending our mind in 100 different directions in a matter of minutes. But rest is not something we can casually ignore. It's something that's been modeled for us by God himself, and it's something he desires for each of us. In this verse, the author of Hebrews is making the point that God has laid an open invitation on the table. You and I can enter God's rest. And that sounds good, right? It is. But in order to take him up on it, you actually have to rest, meaning you have to stop all the striving and climbing and pouring all your energy into constant busyness. You have to do something significantly harder. You have to trust. In the verses directly before this one, the author makes it clear that the Israelites who wandered in the wilderness with Moses couldn't enter the rest God invited them into because they did not trust God. They couldn't imagine that God could actually accomplish what he promised, and they ended up missing out on the rest he wanted for them. The author of Hebrews wants to keep us from making the same mistake. He wants us to trust that God can and will fulfill his promises to us. He wants to keep us from spending our lives striving to earn what God has already freely provided. The truth is, in Christ, we have all the approval and acceptance we could ever need, and there's freedom in knowing that. It puts an end to the striving and worrying that keeps us from truly resting. So what is God asking you to rest from today? And what would it look like to trust him enough to lay it down?